Welcome back to the channel, everyone. If this is your first time visiting the Golfshake YouTube channel, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. See loads more content from all of us here at Golfshake to help you play more and play better. Today's video, we are looking at the new fairway wood range from Cobra. So the new AEROJET family is now available for pre-order, and it's been really popular since we've got it here at the golf club at Howley Hall. I'm going to put it through its paces today, having a look at all three of these models, but first let's take a look at the tech. We have three very distinct different models here, okay? So we have the LS, which is the low spin, we have the standard AEROJET, and the Max as well, so it's slightly more draw bias. You can see the weighting is slightly different in all of these. So front weighting with the LS, so we've got a 12 gram weight there in the heel and a 3 gram in the toe, which we can flip around. In the standard AEROJET model, an 8 gram in the back there, and in the Max we've got 12 at the back, 3 in the heel. So we can make this more draw bias should we want to. We can move the weight back if we want to increase that launch and spin, or in the case of the LS, we can shift it into a draw or fade bias, but it's always towards the front of the head there. But AEROJET is all about speed and distance, okay? And one of the primary technologies that Cobra have utilized to help them do this is power bridge. And the way that see this kind of X shape on the sole here, that is the kind of power bridge inside there, making sure that this head is nice and solid when we hit it with not too much compression of the head. We're going to get some really good distance and some good ball speeds, even on off-center hits. So we'd expect these to be pretty forgiving, but also offer up quite a lot of distance. We've spoken about the weighting in the different models, and that's going to help with kind of the either draw bias, fade bias, or maybe taking some spin off or adding it on, but also the power shell technology we see in here as well, and the hot face technology. They've utilized artificial intelligence in the design to help design the face so that we've got hotter places in the heel and the toe when we miss it than previous models. So we should see some pretty good forgiveness in here too. AEROJET's been really popular, like I said, since we've had it here at the club to do fittings with. And Cobra fairway woods, for me, when I've tested them in the past, have always been really, really good. And I'm expecting big things from these. So let's stop talking. Let's go hit some on the Trackman and see exactly how these three models perform. So we're going to start off with the Max model. This should be the most forgiving, easiest to launch, and ever so slightly draw bias as well. So as you can see, I've hit a couple already, but I'm going to hit a few more and kind of talk you through what I think as I'm hitting them. But looks wise, okay? I've always loved the look of Cobra fairway woods, and this one still looks great. We've got this kind of white, almost two lines around the outside with the blue AEROJET kind of colors, the carbon look on the top of the crown as well, which looks really good. But it sits behind the ball nicely with the Cobra logo on the top there, the sort of C crown logo that we see. And certainly feel off the face when I've hit these has felt really nice as well. Yeah, again, not a great strike, but we can see straightened it up nicely. It's a bit out the toe, that one, and distance-wise looks pretty good too. But you know, this probably isn't the fairway wood that is going to suit me the best out of the three, but certainly it's really, really forgiving. There's a couple of poor strikes in there. They seem to have come out pretty straight. Moving on now to the standard AEROJET fairway wood. So we've got the weighting in the back there. Still should be quite easy to launch. Hopefully pretty forgiving as well. I hit one shot, as you can see there, distance-wise good, and a nice sort of high little draw there, which is what I'd expect. So let's hit a couple more. Again, looks-wise, really, really like it behind the ball, and the feel off the face is very good too. Easy to hit, easy to launch, yeah, and feels really, really nice. So the AEROJET LS is the last one that we're going to try. We've got the weighting obviously in the heel and the toe. I've just left them in the neutral position, so 12 in the heel and 3 in the toe. So this should be the lowest spinning. I think personally it looks the best, a bit cleaner looking, still that carbon sort of finish and that gloss top on there. And we've got the C crown Cobra logo on there too. So let's have a few hits of it and see exactly what it feels and performs like. That's good. Noticeable difference in the sound. Sounds a bit more solid. Ball flight, you can already see, is a little bit lower, which is what we'd expect. For a model that's supposed to be lower spin and potentially the least forgiving of these three, it still feels pretty forgiving off the face, I must say. And, you know, I've hit 3 shots now. First one, decent strike. Second one, not so good. Third one, pretty good. And distance-wise, they're probably the longest that we've hit so far, but be interesting to see when we look at the numbers, but certainly from a feel perspective, I think I prefer this one. So now that we've hit all three models of the AEROJET fairway wood, let's take a little bit of a look at the numbers. I would say from hitting them, the LS felt the best to me in terms of the strike on the face, and I just felt like I hit it a little bit straighter. So let's start with AEROJET Max. Like I say, loved the feel of it. It was really, really easy to hit, but we can see in terms of the distance, for me, it was the worst, okay? And we'd expect that a little bit. It's spinning a little bit higher. I mean, in terms of the height I'm hitting it, it's pretty similar to all the others. The standard AEROJET, in fact, was the highest that I've hit on here. But ball speed-wise was a little bit down. We can see dispersion as well. If we look at those circles that we've got there on the left-hand side, we can see it's the widest dispersion as well. And I think some of that's to do with that draw bias in there. I did have that tendency to sort of turn it over a little bit to the left-hand side. But in terms of ease of use, this fairway wood's absolutely brilliant. And if you're that player who maybe does swing over the top a bit, slices it a little bit, you know, the Max fairway wood could be the one for you, and it could really help you straighten your ball flight out. It's not really designed for the way I hit it, but it's pretty good to compare all three of them together to see what difference it does make. But certainly, you know, I wouldn't be unhappy with the results we're getting here, but when we compare it to the other two that are a little bit more suited, it obviously doesn't look quite as good. When we look at the standard AEROJET here, 258 carry, 274 total, so it's only 5 or 6 yards longer, but when we look at dispersion again, we can see it's just that little bit tighter. It was a little bit easier to hit straight and hit the fairways. It felt very similar to the Max, to be honest. It's just that it didn't have that tendency for the toe to kind of roll over a little bit more and for the face to get a little bit shut. So the shots I hit ended up being a bit higher and a bit straighter. Spin-wise, we can see it's ever so slightly lower than the Max, only slightly. There's not really much to choose between the two. The biggest difference comes when we get into AEROJET LS. So this low spin model is doing exactly what it says it should do. So we can see the spin there, 3,174 RPM as an average. We can see 260 carry, 280 total. So I would maybe say, for me, that's a little bit low spin-wise, yeah? So I don't really want a 3-wood to run 20 yards. I want it to land and stop fairly quickly, probably within 10, 12 yards, really, because I'm not just going to use it off the tee. I'm maybe going to have to hit it into a par 5 or something like that. And generally, I don't need that run on the ball when I'm hitting it. It has to be said, I use the same shaft in all three of these, so it's pretty comparable. But to me, AEROJET LS just felt that little bit better. And we can see from a distance perspective and also from the dispersion here, it's the tightest too. So it was the longest and also the straightest for me, which I'd kind of expect, having not hit a shot with any of them, and you heard before I hit the shots there, I thought that was going to perform the best anyway. Don't just take my word for it. Go out, get fitted for them, go to see a Cobra fitter, either at a demo day or a PJ Pro that stocks Cobra, like what I've got behind me, so we can see the full fitting cart that we have here with a different array of shafts and loft options in there as well, to make sure that you walk out with the right fairway wood for you. Hopefully you've enjoyed that review. I've certainly loved testing them. If you've got any questions, please drop them in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to answer any of them, whether it's about AEROJET or custom fitting in general. And don't forget to watch all of our content here on the Golfshake YouTube channel to help you play more and play better. Until next time, see you then.